All of this is true.
A brand new movie from Steven Spielberg, the legend himself, about aliens of all things? Sign me up. There's no way this thing can go astray, right?
I don't know what to believe anymore.
I think Disclosure Day would have done gangbusters in the 90s, but as much as I love older movies, more than most newer ones nowadays, you can really feel the age in this one. It isn't like some retro thing. Outdated is probably the best word for it. There's a certain naivety to the whole movie that might have worked a few decades back, when there was more of an aura to this subject and people were far less cynical. But now it feels a little unconvincing. Disclosure Day is essentially about a group of whistleblowers trying to release decades of audiovisual evidence about the existence of aliens to the public, while a shady organization working hand in hand with the government tries to stop them. That's basically it. Run from the authorities while exposing secrets the public has a right to know. Along the way, there are some cool ideas about alien technology and influence, but at its core, it's a conspiracy thriller. And that's where some of the problems begin. This is very familiar territory, especially for Spielberg. Beyond E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, we've had countless alien conspiracy stories. Fire in the Sky, The Arrival, Contact, The X-Files, The Signal, just to name a few. And those films took bigger swings, making this one feel kind of quaint. The movie's own sense of self-importance drags it down, I feel. Everything revolves around revealing proof that aliens exist. But then what? How does humanity react? How does society change? The film assumes this revelation will transform the world, perhaps even unite it on the eve of World War III. It briefly raises interesting ideas, religious implications, people viewing aliens as divine, what happens to traditional beliefs, but never explores them. The disclosure itself is the destination. What happens after is taken for granted.
What did you expect to find?
An answer!
That's not crazy, is it?
If it were up to me, I'd restructure the film to have one half the conspiracy thriller and the other half dealing with the fallout. I think it would be more interesting. The problem is that we now live in a world where astonishing levels of corruption have been exposed, worldwide really, but I'm mainly talking about the reality show that is the United States. So many so-called conspiracies have been proven correct, or at least to have a major grounding in reality. Every week lately, it feels like another momentous event occurs that people should start a revolution over, and yet people largely shrug their shoulders and move on. The movie has a fine premise, and I agree alien life would be the biggest revelation in human history. But how much that would actually have a direct impact on you would probably depend on how disillusioned you are with the state of the world at present. Unless something directly affects people's lives, most can't be bothered to give a damn. That's the sad truth. Maybe I'm too cynical these days, but I felt the movie never really engaged with most interesting questions it raised. It simply presupposed the importance of disclosure and stopped there.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What it does do well, though, is the alien technology. Mental manipulation, projecting presences across vast distances, casting illusions. There are some genuinely creative ideas here, and they form a major part of the film. That was probably my favorite aspect. Though I will say that even there was a lot that was left really vague, and that extends to the story as well. A whole lot of this movie was never explained.
I don't know what the truth is. I don't know who to listen to. I don't know who to trust.
I like Josh O'Connor as Daniel Kellner, the whistleblower on the run, and Colin Firth as the ruthless head of Wardex Corporation pursuing him. Emily Blunt, on the other hand, annoyed the hell out of me. I usually like her performances, but here, whether she was being over-emotional, having a panic attack, or acting ditzy, it all came across as too much. It just didn't land for me. Some characters also felt a little useless or contrived. Like, how obvious is it that a girlfriend who isn't really involved and might become a liability if she tags along, decides to tag along and becomes a massive liability? Of course, the people protecting the ultimate secret that nefarious government types are hellbent on tracking down simply shrug their shoulders and say, okay, you insisted really forcefully, so join us. I'm sure nothing will come of this later. There are several moments like that throughout the film. You can see the writing too clearly. Certain scenes feel clunky, a few strain credibility, and there's one of the least convincing car chases I've seen in a while. The ending also feels far too easy, relying on character inconsistencies and ignoring details the movie itself had already established. And while the alien powers are cool, some are so vaguely defined that they just feel like convenient plot devices. John Williams' score is strong as usual, though occasionally it felt oddly familiar, almost like I was watching Indiana Jones. Maybe his style is simply so iconic that it inevitably evokes memories of his earlier work, but this is one of the few times I found myself distracted by his music, rather than immersed in it. Oh, and the CGI is dreadful. There are several CG animals that look completely fake. How did we go from Jurassic Park to animals that look this uncanny? It's a serious downgrade. Disclosure Day ultimately feels like an extended X-Files episode with a disappointing ending. I think there's a lot of hyperbole surrounding this movie in both directions, probably because of who the director is. It's not terrible, but it is disappointing for a Spielberg film. Even though he still gets a lot right, it makes the bad or nonsensical parts really jump off the screen. And I don't think this demands a theatrical viewing, since it really isn't a spectacle movie. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. There's enough here to entertain. The premise is interesting, the alien technology is creative, and beneath it all, there's a positive message about empathy. You can see what Spielberg was going for. As I said at the start, if this had released in the 90s, people probably would have eaten it up. Today, some people are calling it one of the worst things they've seen in theaters. I wouldn't go that far, but it is a letdown from the filmmaker responsible for so many classics. What do you think? Did you see Disclosure Day, or do you have no interest in this at all? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.